What have you two been up to lately? Anything interesting going on in your lives?
Oh no, nothing interesting this week at all.
Well, I mean, we will get to that.
Aside from the obvious.
Aside from the absolute existential nightmare of being a woman.
Sure.
Yeah.
And all the guys acting like, what? Really? This is the first I've heard of this.
This is a thing?
I just don't even need to deal with it tonight.
Yeah.
I will deal with it tonight because I need to.
Well, yeah, anyway, because we have to mock the people that are defending this guy.
Deal with it.
I don't need to deal with the questions about it, basically.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Anywho, sir, what, sir? Other than that, I had to take my cat to the vet for an emergency. That was neat. He wasn't peeing. And I don't know if people know this, but that's an important bodily function. And, so I had the interesting experience of the vet, a super good vet. They're not paying me. Cottonwood in Utah, Cottonwood Animal Hospital at 62-ish hundred South and 1300 East. They were phenomenal. And so the vet even didn't make me put him on the examining table. She got on the floor with my cat next to my feet to look at his penis. Good news.
That is service for you right there.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Good news. It wasn't inflamed. So he had stress. He had a stress condition cats get where if they get stressed out, and apparently cats can just get stressed out. I don't know.
I'm super stressed, y'all. I'm super stressed.
Tell your cat to stop watching the news.
Right? And so
he's gonna do what to pussies?
My poor baby. So he this is Podcat Orzo. So he had a stress condition where his urethra tensed up and he couldn't get pee out very easily.
You got a narrow urethra.
so he's on pain meds and he got super hydration. And this morning he peed like a champ. I watched him pee in the litter box and he didn't even struggle. He peed like a champ. So cat's good.
That's good. Kyle, anything to match the pussy that won't pee?
I don't have anything to match. Oscar season is upon us, so films are screening at odd times. Although I did see A Star Is Born.
Oh, was it okay?
It was pretty good. It was pretty damn good.
Bradley Cooper or Gaga? Who walked away with it? Who was the better?
Oh, well, I mean, they were both. Bradley Cooper is an amazing actor. There's no doubt about Bradley Cooper being an amazing actor, and he put everything into it. The surprise there was Lady Gaga, who
I love her.
She's like today's Streisand.
I don't care about the
fucking good.
There's all the people like for years. There's that whole I can't be made to be seen listening to pop music because somehow that's going to fuck with my masculinity kind of thing. Fuck that, man. Her first two albums were amazing.
She's an amazing artist, but she's a really fucking good actress.
And she can sing.
Yes. So there's a lot that's really, really good about this movie, but goddamn, look, if you don't know, it's a remake.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, no, it's the third remake.
It's like the fourth remake of this movie. But they did it in the 30s, they did it in the 40s, they did it in the 70s.
And then now.
Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, this is a big one. Like, the most recent was in the 70s with Streisand.
Yep. The big song from that was Lovey and Rose. Yeah.
Yeah, and then...
Did they do a version of that in this one, or no?
No.
Probably not.
I don't think so. I don't know. I need to go back and look at it, but it was good. But it's not exactly what you would call a very, walk away from it feeling good about everything movie.
God damn it, I need more movies where I can walk away from it feeling good. That's why I like my Marvel movies. Except for Infinity War. Jesus Christ.
It's a walk away going, that was a movie. And
that's why I love Jumanji, and I'm just gonna keep recommending the new Jumanji.
I finally actually sat down and watched that with my kids a couple of weeks ago, and that was a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. They need to do there need to be more movies where they actually let Dwayne Johnson be funny.
I'm just happy I got to sneak in a couple of dick jokes with my kids watching. That was great. Let's see. What about me? What have I been up to? I talked with you guys about it a little bit online, and I have to parse this just the right way so I don't let my cards tip too much, because I'm a very guarded person what my real life is, especially on the show. I mean, I talk about family stuff all the time, no big deal there. But work stuff, I have to keep that pretty fucking segregated. And unfortunately, my boss the other day asked me about the whole Brett Kavanaugh thing. And he's like, I've been watching all the stuff going on. It's been a real circus. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's been a circus. It's been interesting. And he's like, yeah, his life is just ruined. That lady just ruined his life. And I was just, I'm at a career juncture right now where any kind of me moving up beyond where I'm at, and I've got a good 20-something years until I can retire, if I continue to do that job for the rest of my life kind of thing. I am still so new at this position and of what I do that I cannot make any waves. So even if I disagree wholeheartedly with what my boss was saying, whatever bullshit he was spewing, I had to sit there and smile and just take it and just offer non-opinions about things. And so when I finally got to a point where I couldn't take him talking about this shit anymore, I'm like, well, if I was a guilty party or someone said that I had done something, there's no rock I wouldn't turn over to prove my innocence. And so I think the FBI getting involved is going to be a good thing. He's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But she didn't have she doesn't know how she got home that night. She doesn't know this. And I'm like, yeah, that's the crazy thing about trauma, is that you'll remember certain things and you'll not know a lot. So I tried my best to stand up as much as I could, but unfortunately I can't be the ally I want to be at my job. I can't be the social justice warrior I'd like to be. Yeah. And I know there's going to be a lot of people, oh, you fucking sell out. Oh, you're terrible kind of thing.
No,
I have to feed my family.
There's a difference. There's a difference when you're at the job, especially where we work. There's a lot of tongue biting.
Capitalism. You have to make your money. Like, you have to make your money.
And it's even beyond capitalism. It's capitalism plus politics. That's where we are. That's not my point. No, I understand that. But under capitalism, you guys don't have any protections or choice in really how you do this, because your only access to resources to live are predicated on these things. And
because we have no safety net.
If anyone wants to make sure, Felicia did check. Like, you sure? You sure you couldn't have been a better ally? You sure? And I believe him that he couldn't have been. Okay, but I really got to say this. I was raped, and a long time the show will remember that I didn't consider it rape until these guys were like, yeah, Felicia, that was rape. Because
we've had a long history on this show, guys.
Yeah.
But I was, and it wasn't particularly traumatic for me. That is not speaking about anyone else's experience or trauma level or anything like that. I have been extremely traumatized by other things in my life. Again, other close listeners will notice. Close. I mean, I have PTSD. But that wasn't from that. That didn't do it. It was kind of like just like a shitty thing that happened. That does not judge anyone else's experience, okay? Yeah. Or reaction. People have different reactions to different things. And they're still just as valid, and I still was just as raped. So, neat. I don't remember how I got home either. I don't. I realized listening to her story, I have no idea how I got home.
Because that's how trauma works.
I remember being home, and I remember a friend of mine was passing by my window, and I tended to, like, hang out my window and keep it light. I've always been a late night person.
Hey, folks, next time something traumatic happens to you, I want to see how well you remember things. That's all I'm trying to say is that.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember what happened, and I remember who did it to me, but I don't remember a lot of side details to it. It's really quite bizarre. I remember this friend was going past my window, and he's like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "I'm not good." And I went out. My mom was asleep. She has no idea this happened. And I went out and I talked to him. And him and I are still friends to this day, by the way. And I told him what happened. And he was like, "Fuck." And I'm like, "Yeah." It was this super bizarre experience. I remember telling somebody about it. And I remember that it happened, and I remember telling him after it happened that he just raped me. I said it to his face. I don't remember anything between that moment and getting home. How crazy is that? Like, but that's to me, like, when they're like, she doesn't remember how she got home, I'm like, yeah, no shit, she doesn't remember how she just got home. None of those details matter in the long run. Yeah,
what matters is that she managed to escape and is alive and not. Oh my god, it's been a week, guys. It really has been a fucking week.
It's been a hell of a
really shit week to be a woman. I'm just gonna say it's been a bad week to be a woman. So
it's been a bad week. It's been a bad week to be anybody who has survived any kind of trauma, assault or trauma in that way.
Yeah.
Sexual trauma week, bad week.
Yeah,
but then also, like, I feel like, I'm not discounting any of the trauma men have been through.
Right.
But the misogyny, just like the womanhoodness of it, has been real bad, you guys. It's been real bad.
Yeah.
And I was not willing to face any possibility of confronting a conservative person today at all. Like, no.
Yeah, no. It's just harder because I have people in my life that this has definitely happened to and has affected them their entire fucking life, and in fact affected my entire life with them.
Mm-hmm.
But people did the same thing back then when she tried talking about it. Oh, this didn't happen. You're going to ruin this person's life. This is not, you're remembering it differently, that kind of thing.
Do you want to know why I never told? You know why I didn't report? Hashtag why I didn't report. Because I had been consensually doing sexual things with him, but I had a limit. I said, I don't want to have sex, but I'd been consenting up till a certain point, right? And I'd been clear on my boundaries, and I communicated all those things, and he didn't care, and just kind of whittled his way through those boundaries, and I still wasn't into it. And I was 17. I did not know how to assert myself, because like nowadays that doesn't happen. But that situation, not to say that I couldn't be raped now, because that's a terrifying reality that could still happen.
And I'm giggling not because I'm think it's funny, but because like I have to giggle, otherwise I will fucking cry.
No, I got it. And so I knew if I reported it, my entire life would be under scrutiny, and I would be vilified. The fact that I'd had consensual sex before then, and every partner I'd had it with then would be analyzed and come out. Like every little tiny detail of my personal consensual experiences would be brought out. It would have been horrifying. Like, it would have been way more traumatizing to report it than the just shitty instance I lived with. Like, that's the fucking problem. Like, I knew at 17 that what was I gonna do? What was I gonna do? Well, like, I had no proof. I had no proof. It wasn't brutal. There was no bruises. There wasn't brutality involved.
It wasn't assault. It was just a rape.
It was coercive. It was coercive is what he did.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I didn't report it then either. And, like, he still did it. it's still real. And there's gonna be people who see this and they're gonna be like, she's making it up. God.
Yeah. No. She was sure. Yeah, you're making it up, just like I made up mine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, Roger made up his too.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be aware and just say here, like, I've never been sexually assaulted. I have been groped a couple of times, but it happens to. And it shouldn't be this thing where I just brush it aside and be like, oh, this just happens to everybody. It shouldn't fucking be that way. I don't want to think about my kids growing up and having something like this fucking happen to them because somebody goes, oh, well, that's just how things are. That's just how boys are. That's what happens. And I've had a couple of close calls at school with my kids where, like, a kid forcefully kissed one of my girls or something like that. And it's like, that's not okay, guys. Like, oh, they're just kids. No, fuck you. Do not get to play the they're just kids thing.
No, it's not. No. It's not ever okay. I've clearly already been, like, stress rubbing my chest, like, doing this. Because, like, I'm already red and I'm like...
So, yeah. We're going to go ahead and get to we need to wrap this up because it's just doing nothing but bringing us down because goddamn, it's been a week.
By all means, let's continue reliving. Let's continue reliving.
Let's live that trauma.
That's fine.
Yeah, let's just keep reliving it. Ooh, let's get into my abusive marriage next. No. No.
Next time on the Trauma Podcast.
Let's get into my parents assaulting each other. Let's get into that one.
Maybe that's the next show. All trauma, all the time. Where we just rehash everything that's ever happened to us, and we slowly get drunker and drunker. How about
Nope, that's not what we're doing.